our next guest, named the stock one of his top internet long picks. Mark Mahaney, Evercore ISI, head of internet research, joins us now. So, Mark, you have a buy on Meta, price target of 550. So, which raises the question, there's not a ton of headroom between where it is now, 523 and 550. You're up around 25 times earnings. They've announced their first dividend. I guess the question is there anything left for the market to be pleasantly surprised by here?
The truth, Mike, is there probably isn't a lot. This is a small buy for us. Fully respect the move that we've seen year to date and over the last 18 months. This is one of the biggest pivots I think I've seen in my 25-year career. A stock that corrects 90% and then comes back to all-time highs. By the way, I think Netflix and Spotify are going to do the same thing, but it's just rare you see that. But there are some, I think this is a compounder here. I think it can hold this multiple, Mike. I think, 22, 23, 24 times earnings, something like that for an asset that I think can sustain 20% plus earnings growth. That's legit. And then there are these kind of longer term new growth drivers like WhatsApp monetization, Facebook marketplace, and then maybe virtual, reality, augmented reality with their Reality Labs business, maybe. So there's some things to stick around with, but it's a smaller buy for us here. No question about it.
Yeah, and if you do think that Netflix and Spotify can do that round trip after those nasty sell-offs, it must mean that you think, there's at least 10+% upside in each one of them because, Netflix is, I guess it peaked around 700 or thereabouts. What's going to get it there?
Well, you remember what last peaked Netflix? It was that the South Korean drama thriller.
Oh, yeah, Squid Game. Yeah, sure.
Thank you. I'd forgotten what that was. Anyway, it's coming again. We're going to see it again this year. So, that's just one thing. But this really just strong sub growth. Look, step back on Netflix. This is what's happening. You're getting back to 20 million a year sub ads. An industry that was seeing rising in competitive intensity for like 3 or 4 years up until 2021. That's waning now. Free cash flow is inflecting up for Netflix. And then there are some interesting new growth drivers out there. I'm sorry, there are big growth drivers out there for Netflix. There's this paid sharing initiative, which has worked out really well. And this ad-supported business, they took the best streaming business in the world and they cut it by 30%. Of course, that increases the TAM. So there's a lot of good reasons to stick with Netflix, but it's a small buy. It's very hard to find dislocated buys in tech today. We should all acknowledge that and just be more modest in our long positions in tech.
Mark, earlier this week, I was at the Sohn conference where I sat down with Josh Resnick of Jericho Capital. It's a long-short equity fund that participates in the TMT space, tech, media, telecom. He really likes Meta. And the reason is he thinks that their kind of AI-targeted advertising monetization potential is just superior to their peers. And I'm curious, based on your channel checks, do you agree with that? Just the ability for AI to pinpoint certain ads at certain times of day, knowing the colors potentially that a user might like and be more likely to click on a certain ad. Is Meta kind of the best in class when it comes to using AI for advertising, or do you think there are others out there that are doing similar things that people should be paying attention to?
I've got nothing but respect for Josh Resnick. He's one of the smartest investors I've ever worked with. I think he's dead right when it comes to Meta. People are looking for all the Gen AI plays. What chip plays can I find? What infrastructure plays can I find? I've got the killer, and he does too. He's got the killer app winner off of Gen AI, and it's Meta. They used AI to completely revamp. They were forced to, but completely revamp their ad tech stack. And they've also used it, by the way, to improve their user stack. I mean, this has gone from a social media company to a media company, the way they bring in the content. You've seen it. You've seen a rising engagement on the site. So they've really done a wonderful job here. It was very hard to see that, really to look at that about 2 years ago. But if you you would have realized on a big correction, you want to make this your biggest long. So I think that call is absolutely right. If you're looking for the app play for AI, it's right here. It's Meta.